Well, I think the government is confused over mainstreaming FATA. There are a couple of elements, what I said behind this. To begin with, the PTI chairman himself is on record to have said in public speeches and in private conferences that whenever it comes to deciding on FATA, I will listen to the people of FATA, and he named two people that he'll consult if it comes to deciding about FATA, but he never consulted anyone, or at least those two whose name he took in a public gathering in Nowshera before the election. And he always used to project the valuable customs and traditions of FATA, but I don't know what convinced him or what prevailed that he took a U-turn and he said FATA must be merged along with other political parties, except two political parties which stood with the people of FATA, demanding that the people be consulted to merge FATA or to give it a status of a separate province. So that is the first confusion, that the chairman himself said something, then did something, and now it is not that easy that you just merged a FATA or say brought an area into the jurisdiction of the Constitution of Pakistan, whereas you had done nothing, practically nothing on the ground to provide the facilities. The biggest argument that everyone used to say before FATA was merged, TV anchors, analysts, political leaders, every Tom, Dick and Harry, as they say, for merger of FATA, they said since the area is lawless, there is no law, the court jurisdiction is not covering it, so the law must be extended, or the Supreme Court and High Court jurisdiction must be extended to FATA, so that the people have access to justice. Now that FATA has been merged, this I think happened in May if I am not mistaken. The merger of FATA bill was passed somewhere in May. Now we are sailing in October. So May to October, there is no law whatsoever in FATA. It is in the true sense a lawless area. Before merger, FATA was administered under the Frontier Crimes Regulation, under Article 247 of the Constitution. Now with the merger, everything should have been extended, but since the local infrastructure is not there, the government stepped back. So I repeat myself that the FATA area today is lawless. You handle it through what? Well, this was not the first time that a regulation was passed to administer FATA through that. In the year 2011, a regulation called Regulation in Aid of Civil Power was passed with effect from 2008 to give absolute power to the security agencies in the tribal area. Like if you would recall, we here in the rest of Pakistan adopted a bill in the assembly, I think that was called Pakistan Protection Bill, where the security agencies were given authority all over the country to do almost similar thing as the authorities, security authorities were authorized in FATA. But there was one sentence in the Pakistan Protection Bill, and that was that after 2 years, it will die a natural death. So the death sentence of that act was there. Whereas in the regulation of aid in civil power in FATA, there is no death sentence, so this continues, and that's why the houses are raided almost every day without any notice. People are arrested. Not only people are arrested, entire villages are arrested by the security agencies if something happens. So that regulation was in existence in addition to the FCR under which FATA was governed. Then when FATA merger bill was passed by the Parliament and the Senate, it was brought to the President for signature. When the President authenticates it, only then it becomes a law. So when it came to his table, he was asked to pend it for a day, because if he signs, then he is not the chief executive or the absolute authority for FATA. Then it is merged. He was asked to stay for a day, so he delayed it for a day. Meanwhile, another regulation was brought to him to impose on FATA. That was called, what you said, Regulation for Interim Governance of FATA 2018, under which it was in fact a mixture of FCR and Rewaj Act, which was to be passed by the Parliament before, but when it was debated, all political parties reacted and it was set aside. But in this hurriedly brought regulation, it was a mesh of the two, FCR and Rewaj Act. So it is more harsher than the FCR itself, under which FATA will be governed until arrangements are made to merge it completely into the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So FATA today, I heard it from someone today in fact, that the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly has passed a bill or a resolution, whatever, giving an authority, that the FATA area should be administered under Article 247, which the Parliament here has repealed. So the government fails, doesn't know what to do with FATA, how to deal FATA with. What in fact the government should have done, they passed the bill hurriedly. If you trace the history of the merger, it was done almost on the last day. Just 20 days before this bill, or a month before this, we had a meeting with the Prime Minister. And there, the Prime Minister, with some of his cabinet members, Sartaj Aziz and Hassan Iqbal and Baloch, they agreed that yes, merger and FATA status will be decided later, but the court jurisdiction, Supreme Court, will be extended. So we agreed upon that, okay, you continue with the development, extend the court jurisdiction, but when it comes to deciding whether FATA should be merged or given a status of a province, then the people of FATA should be consulted. Because all along, if you study the history of FATA merger, take it from 2010 or 11 when the first time it started, never has a single person from FATA been involved in all the committees that are recommending merger to the government, nor even in the Apex committee, which are deciding the fate of FATA, or even the bill which was bulldozed through the National Assembly and Senate, members were not allowed to discuss. It just passed through without discussion. So the people of FATA have never been consulted nor included in the merger process or passing of the bill or making of any law or regulation for the people of FATA. So how can you mainstream or regulate an area where you disassociate the local people with? Is there any place on earth that I am not aware if that is treated like FATA is being treated in Pakistan? The local people have no authority whatsoever in the administration of that area. The local people have no say whatsoever in making laws for the area. Everything is made for them either in GHQ or in Islamabad or in Peshawar, the three centers of governing FATA. Why can't the people be trusted? Is the government worried that the people may revolt and go somewhere else? Or maybe the Afghan government would lay a claim tomorrow that it's my area? Who tells these things to the people here? No one in FATA will ever do that. If they wanted to do that, they would have done much earlier, when things were totally in their hand, in the sense that there were no security personnel except for a minimal force of frontier scout or something, just to give protection to the government offices, nothing else. So the whole idea, or the base upon which FATA merger was hurried through, is wrong. It's a false foundation, and upon which a castle is made in the air, as if everything is hunky-dory in FATA by merging FATA into Pakistan. Now, where is the Jannat on earth which the people here would tell us that if you merge FATA into KP, it will be heaven on earth? Where is that heaven? Where are those people who day and night call for merger of FATA? Another example of this thing, that it was a wrong decision, all the three MNAs who pleaded the case of merger, they lost badly in this election. Not a single one could win. So the not including the people in the process is the biggest obstacle, and now the government doesn't know what to do with it. I was told just yesterday that there was a conference in the NDU for a week or 10 days about FATA. They were trying to find a way as to how can we go about it. And the beauty of the whole exercise was that not a known person from FATA was invited into that. All the speakers were mostly those not belonging to FATA. And then you are worried for FATA. I don't know which world we are living in. Well, the first and foremost is the inclusion of the people of FATA in mainstreaming FATA. It cannot be, it is just impossible that outsiders people do it without involving the local people. Today, the army is there through the barrel of the gun, or with the force they can do whatever they want to. But a day will come that the army will either get out or hand over the administration to the civil administration. Then how will they run the area without having the confidence or trust of the local people? The gap is widening with every day that is passing. There is no inclusion whatsoever. So that is first and foremost. And the second is that if you really want to merge FATA, then I think some points of the 5-member FATA Reform Committee, of which Sartaj Aziz was the chairman, were in the right direction. Like what he recommended was that FATA should be kept as it is for 5 to 10 years. 5 years, to 10 years to develop. 3% of the, national divisible pool. From that, 3% should be given for FATA development, which comes to 110 billion a year for 10 years. So that money is to be spent on FATA in 10 years by the federal government to develop it and bring it at par with the rest of the country. And thereafter, the decision for its merger is to be taken thereafter according to their recommendation. But that was just kept aside, and the merger act was bulldozed through without doing anything, any work on the ground. Today's change in FATA is only in the paper. The name, all the 7 tribal agencies that we used to call South Waziristan Agency, North Waziristan Agency, every area was agency. Agency is replaced by a district. South Waziristan District, North Waziristan District. Political agent, who is the civilian representative administering the area, his name is changed into Deputy Commissioner. That ends the story, nothing else. Nothing absolutely. It is a lawless. The deputy commissioner today doesn't have the power that a political agent had yesterday, and he doesn't have the police to arrest people. So in the May to today's period, these 5-6 months, don't you think crimes are being committed in the area? Then how are the deputy commissioners and assistant deputy commissioners proceeding against the people? Has anyone been arrested? Has any action been taken by them? If not, and the area is comparatively peaceful, that tells you that the local people are administering themselves according to the local custom and traditions. So the people are maintaining the law and order, not the government. The government is not there except for the security agencies, army, which is say on the main road or in the camps. What about the countryside? What about the disputes in the villages? Who listens to them? Where are they going to go to for seeking justice? Nothing. There is no court, there is no police, there is no law. There is no record of the land in the tribal area in the government's book. If me and you have a dispute over a piece of land and we both go to the deputy commissioner to get it resolved for us, the deputy commissioner doesn't have a record whether that land belongs to you or to me. How are they going to handle? How are they going to treat the area? So these are some of the area. Now the best way would be the local people, a committee of all the 7 tribal districts, now we will call it, a committee of well-educated people who have served the government of Pakistan for long times, have enough of experience, and the local notables. A committee of that should be formed to suggest to the government how quickly to replace the existing system by the one which they will recommend to bring it closer to the law and order over here that we are seeing. And then within a period of 5 to 10 years, that can gradually be brought into the system. But if you today, for example, extend immediately everything, it will be a big revolt. Like what happened, if you recall, when the FATA and FATA were merged in the same bill. People of FATA cried more than the people of FATA. When they came to know that some taxes would be levied on them, they protested and the government has to go back and give them a special exemption. Now, things like that, or even more than that, would come to surface if the merger process in the true sense starts taking shape in FATA without taking precautionary steps, without involving the local people, without giving due weightage to their customs and traditions. The people are loyal, much more loyal, I would say, than the people here in Islamabad. You go and compare the crime rate in today's FATA with any district in Pakistan, I tell you the crime rate over there would be less than the crime rate over here. Militancy is another issue that can happen here or there. And by the way, all the big militants that we arrested or killed or handed over to America were arrested outside of FATA in the rest of Pakistan, not in FATA. The biggest one was found in Abbottabad, not in Waziristan. So treat the area as your own area. Treat the people as your own people. Trust the people like you trust the people over here. You don't take always the responsibility of deciding for them. Let them decide what is good for them so that they live in honor, with respect and dignity like you expect anyone else in the rest of Pakistan. Well, the main concern is that they are not consulted. This is a big joke when somebody says that Sartaj Aziz's committee traveled to the 7 tribal districts and they consulted the people. They did not. They went to the several tribal agencies, but in each tribal agency they spent 2-3 hours and flew out. This cannot be interaction with the people. They called me over to Peshawar, to Governor House, to consult me or ask for my input. And I said, please, do not be in a hurry. This is my humble request. Give the choice to the people of FATA to decide on 2 things. Sartaj Aziz told me that there are 4 options that up till now we have discussed. One is continuation of the status quo. Second is council like Gilgit-Baltistan. Third, merger with KP. Fourth, separate province. If you can give us your views on this. I said, keep the first 2 away. Status quo not acceptable. Gilgit-Baltistan is out of the question. The other 2 both are workable. But leave it to the people over there to decide. You are nobody, I'm afraid. I said, don't take it personal. But you are not belonging to FATA, not a single one amongst you. They all were sitting. I said, no one amongst you is from the tribal area. Only you, I said, I'll be a little blunt. I said, Sartaj Sahab, only you speak Pashto. The rest are not speaking Pashto even, leave alone belonging to the area. So how come you can decide for them? I said, would you give this authority to the people of FATA to decide for the rest of the country or to make a decision for KP? You don't, but you take in return this right from the people of FATA that you decide for them. Give this right to the people of FATA. It is their area. Within Pakistan, they are not going out of Pakistan. Within Pakistan, they have to decide. And if they decide for a province, that doesn't mean it's a separate country. It is their right. Check with, look at the southern Punjab. Why are they asking for a separate province? The richest province amongst Pakistan is Punjab, but southern part is angry with the rest of Punjab because all the money is spent in Lahore. Same is our problem. You merged me with KP, but all the money is spent in Peshawar, Charsadda, Mardan, Sawabi. What about me? If I was a province, I would have my own chief minister, my own parliament, my own governor, everything of my own. Right now, for the last 70 years, even today, we do not have anything to do with the administration or governing the area or ministries or governor or chief minister, nothing, absolutely. Why can't I have it to myself? To develop my area and be prosperous and as happy as you are.